What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pass the Message, where we're giving you real life people and relevant life hacks for you to learn and share with your circles everywhere. I'm your host, Jeff J, and today I have, as always, a special guest, a former panel member who was cutting up with me on Hella Opinions and was gracious enough to join me today. This is Essence Grant, a media personality and Buzzfeed beauty director. Now let me read you her bio. This was a bio, okay? I had to tweak because I was like, damn, I didn't know accomplishments were like this, right? So Essence Gant is a media personality and the beauty director for Buzzfeed. Originally from Augusta, Georgia, she's especially passionate about representation and diversifying narratives to be more inclusive of under and misrepresented audiences. She's collaborated with brands such as Nivea, State Farm, and Macy's on social media and TV campaigns, and she's appeared as an expert commentator on ABC News, Buzzfeed News' AM to DM, and all the culture podcasts you can download and consume at your leisure. Miss Essence Gant, what's going on?
What's up?
How are you? I think that's the first thing we ask in all of this. We've been asking, every guest is going to get this, but how are you doing? How are you holding up in this?
You know what? I'm healthy, so I feel like I can't complain that much because I'm healthy, my family is healthy, but I would be lying if I wasn't upfront about the fact that I'm low-key going crazy up in this house. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm grateful that I'm healthy, but also I'm ready to go outside and turn up.
I hear that. I think you and me and everybody else both. And what's funny is when you can hear the very first episode where I have Dr. Alicia, who's a psychologist, on that gives us some tips on how to kind of quell that stir crazy feeling while still being hopeful that outside will open up one day, someday in the future.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we got something to look forward to. But what I wanted to speak to you about today, we're going to talk about a lot of cool things. But first, I want to know your origin story. How did you get to Buzzfeed, and where did your passion for beauty and grooming and all that come from?
Okay, I'm going to give you the cute and condensed version.
Okay.
So always loved beauty, always loved style, all of that stuff. I guess stereotypical girl. But my family was very involved in these little ways. So my grandmother owned a hair salon on the back of her house in Virginia, Lynchburg, Virginia. So just kind of growing up in that environment, seeing that. Then my oldest sister, grew up to own her own hair salon. So I was just always kinds of adjacent, always, around it. And then my parents actually did a really good job about always having the Ebony and Essence magazines around the house. I was not named after Essence magazine, by the way, but Ebony and Essence magazines always around the house. So it was just, representation was very normal to me. I was always used to seeing Black women at the salon or at church, and Black church in the South on a Sunday is a fashion statement in itself.
Sure.
So I was just used to seeing that. And then growing up, I was like, okay, what am I going to do with my life? What do I want to be? So in high school, I decided, I was like, I'm going to be a physical therapist. I don't know why I said that. I feel like it just sounded good. I'm going to be a physical therapist. But then I got a little bit older and I was like, actually, I hate science and anything to do with health and all of that. So I was like, no, that doesn't make sense. So then I was like, all right, I'm going to go into social work because I loved advocating, and volunteering was such a big part of our upbringing. And then I did my internships and undergrad and all of that. And I was like, I'm not cut out for this. It is the most emotionally taxing work I have ever done in my life. And then I was like, you know what? I actually media and entertainment, and I love beauty and I love style. How can I transition? And also I was like, how can I use these skills and this passion for advocacy in that industry? Because as we know, the images that we see around beauty and style are often always very white. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, how can I combine this love of advocacy and this love of beauty and pop culture? And so literally my last year of undergrad, I went to Albany State University, which is an HBCU in Georgia. My last year there, I was on my way home driving, because I had an apartment off campus because, grown. So I was driving home, and Empire State of Mind came on, Jay-Z's Empire State of Mind. And I was like, I'm supposed to go to New York. Like, I think this is what Sean is telling me to do. Like, he's telling me to like,
he's Sean.
He's Sean, you know? So you and Blue Ivy have the same birthday. It's nothing. It's whatever. So yeah, like, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go. Like, I'm gonna just try it out. So I went to grad school actually at SUNY Albany, upstate New York. And that really was just to buy time. My program was only a year. And I was like, I'm gonna just buy time and kind of like network and figure out how I can like break into media while I'm in grad school. So grad school was really just an excuse for me to get into certain circles. So I went to grad school, skipped class a whole lot. Don't recommend it if you're young and you're listening. But skipped class a whole lot to come into the city and network. And I actually ended up meeting this girl who was a blogger, writer. And I was like, hey, let me be your intern. I'll work for you for free. And she was like, bet, like your first assignment is Fashion Week because I'm over it. I don't want to go. And I was like, okay, like you telling this little country girl from a small town to go to Fashion Week. I was like, bet. So that was my very first assignment, and it landed me my first job at Hair magazine. And then from there, I just kind of worked my way up, and now I'm at Buzzfeed. But yeah, that's the short, long version.
Okay. I love the fact that you went from Albany State to SUNY Albany. You kept it in the Albany family, right?
Something about the Albany, I know.
No doubt, no doubt. What would you say is a misconception or something that people wouldn't know about what you do? I like misconception a little more. It's a little more juicier.
Yeah, I think, well, okay, for one, I think it's a huge misconception that it's such a glamorous job because people see you out at these events or like interviewing this celebrity at this launch. And, you know, there are perks, like you get to fly to, you know, out of the country for different launches and things like that. But it is extremely hard work. What people don't know is, like, for instance, I had to go to London once for like a beauty launch, but you land, you're there for like 2 days and then you're back on a flight. So you're on this long flight, put your stuff down, do the work. There is no time to mingle, to go out, to explore, like that kind of life. So I think that's a huge misconception. People don't know that, like, it's very draining, like it's extremely draining. And also pay, just being upfront. Like, I think in general, people think media, like, oh, you just like balling out because they see you at these events and you might be at the Rihanna Savage Fenty launch, but you not on Rihanna's tax bracket. Like, you just there to write about it or, you know, to post about it, but you're not, you know, you're not making that kind of money. And I've been able to do well for myself because I've been working now for like 10 years, but it took a long time to get there. It's definitely not how I started out. So I would say that's like probably a huge misconception, is that it's super glamorous and, you know, you just living the life.
Right. It's a slow build. You have all the access, but it's the money that you're around isn't coming through. I definitely, when I was on the outside looking in, that's the feel. And then when you get in, you're like, oh,
right,
this is how it is. All right. You know, I get it now. I get it. It's like, I'll plan accordingly. I think I'll save my money here. I'm not going to ball out there, and we'll be all right. So, right. Yeah, no, that's a big misconception. I'm glad you brought that up. So one of the main topics that we're talking about today, right? So anyone who's the type that has upkeep, that continuously, you know, whether the fellas getting haircuts, let me tell you, it's been a struggle. Like, men all over the world have had solidarity in the fact that our barbers have gone on furlough, and we're like shit out of luck, basically, in some instances. And I know women have been complaining about the same things, like similar luxuries or day-to-day activities that you do in your regimen that you no longer can do. And I feel like we're all in this place right now where we're trying to figure it out, or even figure out if it even matters anymore. So talking about beauty and grooming during the Rona, right? What I would ask you is, first, what are you seeing in terms of whether it's any struggles or even the level of importance that people are putting on beauty and upkeep and stuff like that now?
I think it's kind of half and half. Like you have those people who have fully surrendered and just embraced the struggle life that we're all in. Like, you know what? It is what it is. I can't go to my stylist or my barber, and they're just like roughing it out. And they've just kind of like given into it and leaned in. And I'm not mad at that because it's like whatever you need to do to kind of cope and get through this, like do you. And then I see the other side of that a lot, especially with like women who are like, you know, to feel like myself today, I woke up and I actually like put on a face. Like I did my makeup, I did my hair, like, you know, so there's that other side of that just to maintain some sense of normalcy. And I think that if your places like, you know, we're on the East Coast, like if you're in New York, LA, like these things are kind of indefinite. Like we don't know when we'll be, you know, kind of like reintegrating back into society. It's like, well, you just kind of in the house until whenever. So it's like, well, do you just kind of rough it that whole time, or do you accept the fact that, yo, I might be in the house until December. Am I really about to look busted until December?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's kind of where I'm at. So I have my days where I'm just like, you know what? It's going to be a steely color purple day. And then I have my days where I'm like, you know what? Let me serve you some pro and makeup and all of that.
What has been is, you know, well, let me touch on that. It's funny when you say that because I feel like we've gotten to the point where it's take me as I am. Like I tell people, I said my mantra for this quarantine is Mary J. Blige, take me as I am or have nothing at all, right? Straight up. And I feel like on one hand, we are accepting that. But on the other hand, like you said, sometimes you just want to feel good. And it's when you look good, you feel good, right? In all different facets. So finding that balance where it's not too much different from pre-quarantine other than if you had less barriers towards looking good and feeling your best by either dressing up or getting like a massage or getting your nails done, getting a manicure, pedicure, whatever have you. What have you seen on your end? What have you seen major issues that women have been facing as a result of how stuff has changed for them in that area? Because on my end, I'm like, y'all kind of been on this wave for a minute in terms of knowing how to take your regimens and all of that. So I'm curious to know, like, what on the women's side, what are the struggles that you're going through?
I think you touched on a little bit. It's just like the access, because a lot of like women's services or like a lot of our routine is a service. So you have to go somewhere to get it done. And that's been completely like just not an option anymore. So like I was even talking to my sister the other day and I was like, yo, I really need a trim. And like it's bugging me. It's like driving me crazy because I really need a trim so bad. I'm like, I would want nothing more right now than just to be in somebody's shampoo bowl, getting all up in my scalp, straightening my hair, and giving me a nice little even trim. So those are the things that like some women can do them themselves. I cannot. Like I can't trim my own hair. I also have a lot of hair. It's very thick. So I'm just like, oh my God, like I think in those instances it's just the access or like going to get your nails done. And I think for a lot of women, the struggle comes into play where it's like you can't get that service done, and that's such a big part of the experience. It's like, yes, like I can do it myself. I'm about to buy some press-on nails tomorrow, actually, and I'm about to have my nails back because I'm like I can't even function right now.
Press-on nails. So, that's when we at mission critical right there. That's code red, DEFCON 5 type shit.
And it's so many women I'm seeing like on Instagram and stuff who are like going into business now doing that. Like, cause girls are like, yo, I need my clickety clack. Like I need my nails back. And so they're like making nails, at home and mailing them out. So I'm about to buy some of those actually tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But I think that, that is such a big part of the experience. It's like there are a lot of things you can do yourself, but you want to go. Like a lot of us, we know our hairstylists, just like men know their barbers. Like we know our stylists, we know our nail tech lady. Like we know our masseuse. So we want to go buy and get that time and let somebody do it for you, because not only is looking good a part of the self-care process, but just letting someone else pamper you is a part of it. So I think that factor has changed a lot too. There's no one to do it for you anymore. It's like you got to do it yourself, which makes it kind of more work and less self-care.
Right. I have found so many women that have been hindered by the lack of nails that they have to relearn how to type. Now, I didn't know this was a struggle y'all had. I just thought that, you got used to it on the long, and I'm like, okay, once it comes off, you can actually type now. Like, you can actually type like the rest of us. But the fact that you get so used to it that once it's taken away, it's almost like losing training wheels when you're riding a bike, but you've been training on that for a while, but it's like the reverse of that. So that I have a laugh at that, because it's just like, now we don't have to hear them damn clicking when y'all type, but it's something that you have to adjust to, right? It's nuts. So, I'll say it from the, what have you heard on men's side? What has been the main thing? I mean, I can chime in with you, but I want to see what you've been hearing.
I just keep hearing about these barbers. Like, y'all really acting like, I'm just like, I mean, I get it, but also I'm like, calm down. Like, you really over here struggling for real, and y'all keep talking about these doggone haircuts. And I'm like, worst case scenario, like, you just kind of grow your hair out, but it'll be fine. Like, because that's also a look. Like, like fuller hair is like also a look. It's not like, it may not be your preference, but it doesn't necessarily look bad, because that is also a style.
Right.
That's kind of just what I keep seeing all and down my timeline. Is like, I can't get to my barber, and I'm like, eek.
Well, let me explain it to you from the perspective. Anybody who's known me for years known that, like, the barber is probably a top 5 relationship that I've had. I've like, it feels like I've lost a piece of my soul not being able to connect with my barber. Like, you talk about how all the massage, the mani-pedi, bikini wax, if that's what that's what you do, hairstylist, that's like your self-care. When men get haircuts, it feels like we have like Thor's hammer in our hands. It feels like we're Supermen. It empowers us to be able to take over the world. Like, that's a feeling of confidence that it's nothing else like it, because you're fresh. You about to kill them out there. You about to turn heads, and it's to look good, feel good. It's like, I don't have no struggle hairline. I don't have a hair out of place. I'm right, and I'm tight, and I'm ready to roll. So the fact that even if you get your hair cut monthly, that you don't have that option, now a lot of men are in uncharted territory, because one, there's some men who refuse to touch their own hair in any way, shape, or form. 2, men are so used to getting haircuts, they don't remember or know how they look with longer hair. And then 3, you got the brothers who are in the struggle with whether their hairlines or whatever have you, that if their hair starts growing back, it reveals vulnerabilities, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that
some of that. I did see some of that. I did see struggle.
That's why y'all are seeing the hat game now more than ever. Like, you just got to let those brothers cook. You know what I'm saying? I stand in solidarity with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's I think that's the thing more than anything on the men's side, because, and we're going to get to it in a second, we fall grossly short when it comes to anything else other than hair care. We fall grossly short. Yes. So that isn't really as much of an issue, but it could develop and you don't even know it. I mean, it develops for a lot of us anyway, because we don't do it, but that's something that, we'll definitely dive into in a little bit. This show, I've said it before and I'm going to continue to say it. This show is not really about, like clout or fame or whatever. We're really here to help people and help people in the struggle. So I'm not really, you get to see all the behind the scenes and everything like that, everything going on, except for the sound checks, because those were a struggle and I don't want to do that. I'm going to connect Essence. You entertain the crowd for a second. I'm just going to get my Wi-Fi, my wired connection, so that we don't drop out.
Okay.
And you better be entertaining, because I'm going to watch this back.
Okay. Let me see. What I'm going to do. Okay. I'm just going to speak from my heart right now. You guys, I am legit going crazy. I don't know really what, I get Jeff's struggle, but I also feel like it does not compare to all my ladies out there. Our struggle, he's back. So let's act like
I heard something smart. I heard something smart.
I was just saying, the struggles just kind of, they don't really compare. Like, I hear you, I get it, But for the most part, like honestly, even right now, like this is you know what too? Men, you touched on it a little bit earlier about like falling short in every other category except for like hair care. Because we are so used to seeing y'all in such a like very natural state, it doesn't change much when your hair is not done. Versus us, there's makeup, there's nails, there's so many other components that go into pulling our look together. So we're not just losing hair, we're losing like, you know, our esthetician, our like skincare to do our like radiating glow masks and all of that stuff. So it's affecting a lot. So with the men, I'm just kind of like, hey, you can't get your hair cut.
Oh,
like,
well, too bad, so sad. So you kind of led into it, which is a question that I have. Do you feel like how do you feel people have been more accepted of their natural beauty as a result of this quarantine?
I think it has forced people to be accepting of it. Like, I think it has forced, because you don't have an option now. And like, yes, you can get up every day and do your makeup, but you probably are not going to, because you don't really have anywhere to go unless you have like a, you know, conference call or like something like this. But for the most part, like it's forced people to just kind of sit in their natural state and accept it, which I think is not a bad thing. Like, you know, ideally it would be something that you did for yourself, like voluntarily on some journey of like, you know, whatever. Ideally it wouldn't be like so forced, like, you know, because we're in a pandemic. But I do think that like there is a, you know, some beauty in that, and kinds of being like, okay, like what does my hair look like when it's not straightened? Like, you know, what does my face look like without makeup? Like, you know, and I think that it's, you know, kind of like forcing people to step up their routines, like skincare. Even a lot of women have like DM'd me and been like, okay, so like, what do you use in your skin? Or like just trying to, because now there are no masks, there's no cover up. It's like, okay, I really have to take care, you know, of this part of myself. So I think there's some good news in there.
Right. And I'll even say you discover stuff that you didn't even know. Like I haven't gotten a cut since March 13th. So it's almost 2 months I'm going. And my thing is, once my hair, and I'll even take this off. I can hear you from here. So my hair gets to a certain level and it does its own thing. Like the restraints are broken and the waves turn into curls. The curls turn into waves. I have 15 different patterns up here, and it's freedom. It's freedom in follicle form, right? So okay. For me, I'm kind of like, damn, I want to cut my hair, but I don't want to, like, it's brushing and it's putting stuff in it. It's doing all this stuff and doing it. And then even like, I rock a beard sparingly, but, it's just like when people see it, they're like, oh, that's a nice look. It's like a different look for you. Like that looks good on you. And I'm like, you really, I feel raggedy, but other people will see your beauty, your natural beauty, or this different side of you and be able to see what you may not see. It's almost like when you work out and people can see your progress, but you don't see it unless you track it with pictures week by week. It's the same thing with this. So I do think there are some advantages now to see how long can you go without certain things? How can you modify your look? Maybe if you're on vacation, you don't always need a cut. You don't always need to get done up. You can finesse it on your own.
Yes, I agree with that. And I think it's like cool to see, because that is a thing where like, you know, you have all these different textures, especially like, you know, Black and brown people, like we have so many textures in our hair that it's not just like, oh, I'm a type 3A all over. It's like, you might be a 3A, a 4C, a 3B, like, you know, you have different textures and patterns in your hair. And I like to see it. And I can tell you just from here, your hair does look good. It's very lush. It's like, you know, full, it looks healthy. And as it grows out more, you should look into maybe even getting some like products for natural hair, because that will enhance what you already have. And then you'll be able to see for real, like, okay, what is my hair really doing? I'm into it though. It's a look.
Essence, we about to get there because I got to get my brothers right. Like we've had similar conversations before. Listen, if it's one thing, I remember I think I was on a conference call, house party. I know all of y'all are on house party, so don't act like y'all not. So I was on a house party with some of my friends, and we were talking about it. And one of my homeboys was like, "Yo, man, I'm gonna be wolfing out. You know, y'all just gonna have to accept me. I ain't really whiff looking good right now." And it was a silence, and I came in and I said, "I'm not gonna hold you. I'm definitely about that right now because I that's just me naturally. Like my upkeep is always a certain level. It's just I can't take care of everything right now because of this damn quarantine, right? But we go into it. You were ready to give me some tips. You ready to you ready to bless me with the whole pharmaceutical chest of jewels on how we can take care of ourselves during this time. So let's get into it from a man and a woman perspective. What are some tips that you have during this time for men and for women, for them to serve their best look and take care of themselves?
I would say my number one tip, even above hair care, is skincare. Like, I mean, after all the mental health and all of that stuff. So working out, whatever you ever need to do to like keep your mental in check. But physically, I would say skincare is such a real thing. Like, and it's the perfect time to kind of nail down a regimen that works for you because you don't have to go anywhere really, like except for just like to the grocery store. So you can experiment with different things. You can see how your skin reacts to different products. But I would definitely recommend skincare because that has been what's kept me. Like even when I don't have on my makeup, I'm like, okay, you still cute, girl, because that skin is popping. Like, like skincare is such a big part of the whole, like, feel good, look good. I mean, it's kind of the foundation for everything else. Like it's, we've seen models on the runway with not a stitch of makeup on and their hair just really basic tied back into like a ponytail, just like a very basic look, but we're still like, ooh, that's a look, because the skin is just like really glowing, radiant. So I would definitely say my number one tip is to lock in a skincare routine, figure out what kind of skin you have. Do you have dry, oily, combination, like how to, and then kind of locking in a really solid skincare regimen.
Okay. We start with the skincare regimen. And I could say also, men start a skincare regimen.
Please start a skincare regimen.
Start a skincare regimen. And I will say even before we go all this, men, get advice. If you can't use Google, if you're a little wary about going venture on your own, get advice from women. Get advice from women that know it. Women will be eager to help you out. And it doesn't, like, whether it's your friend, whether it's your partner, whether it's your sister, whether it's your mom, anyone in your life will be eager and willing to help you out. If I had to hear about some damn blackheads one more time in my life, I was going to go crazy. So I've had a lot of good women in my life that have put me on to stuff. I mean, Essence even put me on to a toner to use at CultureCon because I went up to her and I am very open. Like I ain't on the macho shit that a lot of people are on where it's like, oh, I ain't going da-da-da. No, Essence, like, what do I like? What's next? She's like, oh, lavender and da 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 da. I was like, taking all the notes, and I'll even say furthermore, if you're in a romantic relationship with a woman, fellas, raid their products. They take our basketball shorts. They take our hoodies. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Fair is fair. You can raid their products too. Test and learn. Just don't OD because then they'll know that something is afoot. Right. But definitely rate their products. Like if they're going to help, they should be helping all the way. And a good product will put you in the best possible solution. And I'm dead serious. I'm not even like I'm joking, but I'm dead serious too.
I agree. I mean, I don't know about stealing people's products because
I didn't say steal. I said dabble. Y'all steal hoodies. Y'all steal basketball shorts. We sample.
We do. But y'all hoodies be like $6 sometime, and our products be like 50. But it's fine. It's fine because we really do. I think above all else, we just want y'all to have good skin because y'all don't understand. Like just the same way that y'all are attracted to certain things, like so are we. And like we're not saying that you got to be out here, glowing all the time. Though that would be nice, but like you should have like a good solid skincare routine because it does affect, your look. So yes, do that for yourselves and for us, please. Begging you.
What's like a basic like let's say I'm a guy. I want to start a skincare. I want my skin to be healthy and happy. What's a basic thing that they can do? Like what's the first few things they should use?
One, stop using that doggone bar soap because that is for your body. That is not for your face. So y'all be the same stuff that y'all will use on your body in the shower. You try to wash your face with that, and that is like a mistake. Like you can't do that. It's very drying. So don't do that. Get an actual skincare cleanser. And you don't have to even go as pricey as we do. Like you can get something from Target or Amazon or whatever. So get a actual skincare cleanser, and also make sure that you are toning, because men, you guys, your pores are also like bigger, they're larger, they're more visible. You produce more oils. So that's why you'll have like more blackheads. Your skin can get congested more. So like get a toner, because that will help to like exfoliate some of that dead skin away, to help, all of that stuff kind of like detox and come out of your pores. So that it's just not so like, congested in there. So I would say definitely cleanser, toner, moisturizer. Those are like the very basic kind of like skincare 101.
Yep. And if you want to go advanced, I use clay masks, charcoal masks, like at least twice I told you, like I've learned from the best and I apply accordingly. So like clay mask, like they say you're supposed to do it every other day, but I keep it real. I do it like twice a week, because I just be forgetting sometimes, but I do it like twice a week. I do the toner. I do the moisturizer day and night.
Yeah.
Nighttime, like oils and moisturizer and stuff like that. And I will say it does make a difference, because I don't wake up ashy. I don't wake up dry. My skin doesn't wake up cracked. All of those like over here, like around your nose and stuff like that, like those areas, you see a difference. Like it's not bullshit. You actually see a difference. So I would 100% co-sign that. On another note related to that, I would say also actually buying the products, there's probably a barrier now because of the delays and stuff like that. Although it feels like Amazon and eBay and some of these other places are still shipping out stuff. I know like CVS and local places have stuff too. Like especially if you need the basics, they have that also. And if it's hand sanitizer, you're shit out of luck. But if it's anything else, you're straight. You know what I'm saying? So what about the hair? What about the hair, Essence? What we doing about our hair?
You know what? It's because we already talked about this. You can't get to the barber, you can't get to the salon, but what you can do is like shampoo and condition your own hair. Like make sure that you're like cleansing and conditioning, because conditioner is going to add back in those nutrients and that moisture that you lost in the shampoo process. So condition and shampoo your own hair. And it's honestly like not rocket science. Like, especially if you're like a Black person, I would say like once a week, like shampoo and condition, unless you have extremely fine hair and it produces a lot of oil, then you may need to do something like a little bit more often. But like general kind of standard, like shampoo, condition your hair once a week. Also invest in like a really good deep conditioner. And you can find those like as cheap as $7, as expensive as $100. Like I don't know, what you're trying to spend, but definitely get a really good deep conditioner that you can put in your hair, like, once every 2 weeks. You don't even have to use those as often as like a more basic conditioner. And then you also want to get like I would say a styling agent. I don't really use styling agents. So when I say styling agents, I'm talking about like mousse, curl definer, things like that. You can definitely get those if you want to, if you're trying to actually style your hair, or if you want your hair to look a certain way. But for me, it's really just moisture is my priority. So I personally shampoo, condition, and then I will apply a leave-in conditioner or like a heavy kind of like whipped butter. Again, I recommend that for people with like very thick hair. If you have very fine hair, I don't recommend it because it's going to weigh it down. But moisture, putting that moisture back in your hair to kind of give it some sheen. And if your hair is growing out, like how my hair, like I have a fro, or if you are a guy, you have like longer hair. When you're just around the house, shampoo, condition, put in a butter or a leave-in conditioner and just twist it. Like, twist it and just wear it like that, because that's what we call a protective style.
Mm-hmm.
That will keep, all of the moisture kind of locked in. Because when your hair is just out like this, It's open to all the elements. There's, moisture leaves, but when it's like twisted or braided, it's kind of like locked into place. So do that days that you're not really going anywhere, doing anything, just to kind of help, retain that moisture.
Yeah, y'all definitely about that leave-in conditioner protective style life. Like Essence, in like 2 months, I'm about to be doing length checks on Instagram. Like it's about to be a length check season. It's like I have nothing. It's just gonna keep going. So I don't touch the top of my head. So I would say what I have been using is a sealing cream. So I do that like after I get out the shower, and I'm able to put it in and brush, and my hair appreciates it, and it all curls up, but it locks into a pattern. Like it's making its own pattern, but it looks like how your hair is in a bun right now, and it's not wild per se, but it's like it's doing its own thing in one way. That's really what it is for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like do your own thing, but like let's all go in one direction. Let's not zig zag. Right.
Yeah.
So that I'll also say for men that if you have facial hair, take the time now to learn how to style it. And cut your own hair. And I know that might be blasphemous. I know some people just passed out right now. I know you're like, oh, hell no, I can't break the barber code. But honestly, shaving myself is what I do in between weeks, right? So like usually, for those of you who will see the album art and you've seen me around, whatever, I usually have a goatee. So it's kind of easy for me because I would just make sure this was all shaved, and then I shape up my goatee, right? So like Andy's clippers, and I don't get money from them, but they've been in the hood before me. They'll be in the hood while I'm here, and they'll be a part of Black culture when I leave, right? So Andy's, it's just a staple. It's just who I. It's like Andy's clippers. Big Mama's cooking on Sundays. Collard greens and black eyed peas on New Year's. Like it's just what it is, right? Soup Jumu on New Year's Day for my Haitians. It's just a staple of Black diasporatic culture, right? So the T-liners is what I would use. And what I would say is, at the very least, do what I do, or what I've said is paint by numbers. Your barber has already given you the blueprint. You know how it looks where it shape up. All you got to do is follow the line. Follow the line and clean up. Don't go too far. Don't go too south. And just clean up. That way it'll have some semblance of what you are. Now, if you want to go another level, you can learn the different guards that you have on clippers. So it's like, and I've always heard about it, but I never dived deep until now, where it's like there's like 5 different levels, right? And depending on the level is the closer shave that you can get to trim down. Because I don't like a big thick beard, so I invested in some electric razor with the guard cheap thing that I could just shave down. And I would say now is the time more than ever to practice with it. You don't got to be anywhere. Don't like Zeke yourself, but you can do like what you do when you go to a new barber, which is you go in stages. You go in stages. Like, all right, we're going down one level. Is this all right? You go down a little lower. But I would also caution against, if you're using guards on your clippers, to make sure it stays on. Because I've heard horror stories about some of them slip off and you're cutting and you're like, oh, then your beard got to come off. Either that or you're just going to have a story for a few weeks, right? So just be careful and take your time. But I would definitely advocate for learning that skill so that you can have proper upkeep.
I'm into that. I love that you are like very well versed in so much of this, like when it comes to like appearance, because that's very important. And your friends need to rely on you, and so do all other men, because
it's looking crazy out there.
That's not the norm.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about it openly, like, because when I was growing up, people call you a pretty boy if you're clean. And I used to be like, yo, y'all calling me pretty because I clean myself. Like, think about that. Think about that. You want to be rugged? I can be rugged and still look like my skin is healthy. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So even something as simple as wearing sunscreen out here in the summer, like when we used to be able to go outside, wearing sunscreen so that it doesn't dry you out. And Black people can get sunburn. I definitely get sunburn right here. Always, like if I'm at the beach or something like that, no matter how much I put on, right here, always burns. We're gonna get burned. We could get whatever the skin types of cancer we are susceptible to. Well, less susceptible than others, but it can still happen.
And also, I feel like people don't take into consideration enough. Like, yes, you can get sunburn. You can also get skin cancer. But something that is very real for Black and brown people is hyperpigmentation. And sunscreen, SPF, will help protect against hyperpigmentation. And that's basically like if you have a pimple or anything like that dark spot that it leaves after, like sunscreen will help protect that so that all of your skin tone is even. So it's not patchy and blotchy and over here is like darker, there is lighter. It's like it just keeps everything even. So if nothing else, please use SPF sunscreen to keep your skin tone even.
I didn't even know that that's what caused hyperpigmentation. I didn't even know uneven skin tone was called hyperpigmentation. I just made a guess. So that's something that we definitely need to know. Now on the grooming side, you know, we've had this debate about working from home and how we dress, right? Some people want to dress up, some people want to dress down. What is your opinion on the whole situation?
My thing is, do you, like, honestly, whatever makes you happy. There are days that, like, I wake up and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna put on clothes today. I'm gonna do a little Instagram photo shoot in my living room. And then there are other days where it's just like these pajamas is just what I'm serving, and it is what it is. Like, I feel like whatever you're feeling like when you wake up, just kind of like lean in and go into it. Like, I'm just a firm believer in not making things too rigid, because that can be very overwhelming, and we're overwhelmed enough as it is right now. But I will say that dressing up occasionally, you know, from time to time, if it's not something that you're doing regularly, is very rewarding, because you're like, okay, I'm kind of back to me. Like, you know, again, maintaining that sense of normalcy. So I'm into it. I'm into putting on an outfit, even if you're just running to the grocery store, to the drugstore, or even if you're just staying in the house all day. Like, I have definitely done that plenty of days here in the quarantine where I've, like, you know, dressed up. I'm also a big fan of like business on top, pajamas on bottom. If I have, so yeah, just kind of like going with the flow. But I will, you know, without trying to be too prescriptive, I will say, like, give it a shot if you haven't been dressing up, especially if you live with a partner. Like, put on some clothes and, you know, encourage them to do the same, because it's just, they want to see you also not look like a bum 24/7, you know, all day. So I would recommend it even more so for people who are living with a partner, just to kind of keep them, you know, excited and like, oh shoot, my man do look good, I forgot, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I would say, yeah, do you and do how you feel. Because I know for me, I can't tell you the last time I wore jeans, but I'm not out here bumming either. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, some days I'll wear shorts. Some days, you know, I'll work out and then be on a call afterwards and work out. But it's what makes me feel comfortable. And there's a lot of other things you can do to feel comfortable. But there are some times where you have to kind of get into a mental mindset. Because for me, speaking for me, I can't work in my pajamas because I'm going to be asleep the whole day mentally. Okay. Yeah. So I know I have to dress. Like, I don't got to dress like I'm going out the house, but I got to dress like I'm doing something other than sleeping. Right. Because if I'm in my sleep clothes, I'm going to be asleep up here. Right. So I think it's a know thyself kind of situation where know what you are. But I saw some dude wrote an article about why y'all wearing sweatpants every day and whatnot. You know, first off, I looked the dude up. I'm not taking fashion tips from him. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, I'm not gonna do that. But secondly, it's like, first of all, the overemphasis on clothes that you gotta wear to do certain jobs. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's about how you present yourself. I don't need a 3-piece suit to produce video. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to be wearing a ball gown dress to do an interview unless you're at a red carpet. But, you know what I'm saying? But, I just feel like that's an overemphasis. And I do think that in terms of working from home, you should be comfortable first, because this is not a normal situation. So you should be comfortable first.
Right? Absolutely. I agree. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, those were some great tips, and we're gonna get into you shared us some insight on your profession, stuff that I feel like everybody, especially men out there, like, yo, please listen. Women, men, accordingly, everybody who's into skincare and wants to see the best for yourself, take some of the advice. I am also a client. I'm not overnight. I do a lot of stuff. I mean, one of my shout out to Aisha, my friend Aisha. I was on FaceTime with her, and I was like putting on something on my face, and she caught like a glimpse of my bathroom, and she was like, "I think you have more products than me." And I was like,
surprised, because you really do. I'm not like, you do have good skin. Like
you.
it is like, yes, like I will say that. Like, so that's really good to see, because that's very rare. It's very even, it's radiant, and it looks healthy. Like it looks like, you know, the texture and the tone look healthy.
Well, shout out to my mom and my dad, because I would they be here without their features and without their combination of genes, which helped me, because, like, trust me, it was a good starting point. I'll say that in terms of skin. Like, I didn't have the acne problems that a lot of people did. I did get, like, you get the annoying pimple that's like, yo, fam, why couldn't it be here?
Right.
Why gotta be here? Why couldn't it be under my neck? Like, why couldn't it be right on my nose? And when you gotta do something.
It's payback though, because I was the same way. Like, I didn't grow up with like acne. It was like a very blessed life as far as that is concerned. But I feel like you can't have it all. God got to keep you humble. So he like, you know what? You don't really get breakouts. So every once in a while, I'm gonna just give you a little right here to bring you back.
Just make sure that you everybody's even. You know what I'm saying? You ain't all that hot. All right, relax. All right, so let's get into you. We talked about your professional expertise. We're going to get into something called the skills challenge, right? I want you to impart on all of us, what are some of the skills, the transferable skills that you have in your profession that you think anybody can use and benefit from?
Ooh, you know what? I think, I don't necessarily know if it's a skill or character trait or whatever, but discipline is such a thing, because someone tweeted the other day and they were talking about, like, you know, motivation and discipline, and it was such a powerful tweet. And she was basically saying, like, you know, motivation is great. That's what gets you excited when you have a new idea, all of this and that. But discipline helps with execution, even when the motivation like runs out, because it's not going to always be fun. It's not going to always be like, I don't always feel like, you know, making Instagram content. I don't always feel like interviewing somebody. I don't always feel like doing a lot of stuff, even though I'm generally excited about my job. But that discipline is kind of what keeps you on the straight and narrow. So I would definitely say discipline. And what helps me a lot with discipline is making out lists. I'm a huge fan of lists.
Same.
You know, like, okay, what do I need to do today? And we have our phones, and like, you can put a list in your phone. I personally like pen and paper, because I like to be able to like go through and scratch it off and just kind of have it in front of me. Something about the physical act of like having a pen, writing something on paper. Okay, I need to do this. I need to call this person back. I need to email, you know, this reel or this portfolio out. I need to follow up with this person. I need to actually, you know, make this content for Instagram, whatever it is that you have to do in your profession. I would say just, you know, really exercise discipline in a way that I exercise discipline is by making actual like lists and having everything I need to do in front of me.
All right, cool. That's something that I think anybody could use, is hone your discipline by making lists. Now, are you the one list person per day, or are you the multiple list person that just has notes upon notes upon notes in your book of different things?
No, I will do like a list a day. So like a list a day. I'm even a fan of like weekly lists, but I don't like to, because I feel like it can easily get messy. You have to, again, like, know yourself. Like, I kind of struggle already with structure. So I need everything in like a central one location, because if I have a list over here for this and a list over here for that, after a while, I'm just like, la-di-da-di-da. Like, I'm just all over the place. So I need like one thing that I can just refer to. I am a fan of like color coding though. So like, I might like highlight, you know, okay, everything work related is like highlighted in pink. Everything like personal or like family related is like highlighted in yellow. Everything, you know, for me is highlighted in green. So I am a fan of kind of like color coordinating things, but you know, again, whatever works for you, but I'm a fan of like one, because I just need to stay focused.
Hey, in a land of productivity apps out the ass and all types of ways to tweak. Sometimes you keep it simple with the lists and you keep it basically square one, and that could be the most disciplined thing you do. So I definitely co-sign that. I'm a list person myself. I've gone all digital. So it's like between my Mac and my phone and my iPad and anything else, I'm always like doing all that type of stuff. So it's a little maniacal, but it works. You know what I mean? Exactly. So now we're going to get into an actual pass the message situation. So I want you to tell me about a time where somebody imparted some knowledge on you, dropped a jewel that you used and that you continue to use throughout the day and share with other people.
I remember when I first moved up here, just a little Georgia girl with some dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I was at this event and I met this lady who, you know, she was older than me and she was pretty like, you know, OG in the industry. So we were just talking and I asked her, I think, for advice. I can't even remember how the conversation led to this, but she was basically like, you know, you just kind of gotta embrace the process and like trust the process and like you do the work, you do what you need to do, you network with who you need to network with, you put yourself out there, you make the content, you do what you need to do, but ultimately you kind of just have to trust that work is working on your behalf because the second that you start trying to manipulate situations, the second you start getting like too thirsty is when you kind of start self-sabotaging and then you build a name for yourself and nobody wants to work with the guy or the girl who's like hella thirsty, like always, you know, running up to people like, can I get a picture with you? Like, you know, no one really wants to work with that person. They'll be nice to you and they'll take a picture with you, but they will never look at you as like a respected peer. It's always kind of just like, oh, that's the like, you know, goofy person. So I would say like do the work and trust that work will pay off for you one day because I feel like certain industries, media is definitely one where there is no formula. Like you just do it and you hope something comes of it. I always say all the time, like if you want to be a teacher, you go to school, you get this certification, you take this test, like whatever it is, and you're a teacher. If you want to be a doctor, you know, it's a lot of hard work, but there is a path. Like you go to college, then you go to med school, you get whatever certifications they get, lawyer, same thing. You're trying to work in media, it's like you may or may not go to college. You show up at this event, you might run into, I don't know, Spike Lee, and he might put you in something. Or you could be busting your ass for 20 years and then finally something pops off. There is no formula. There is no time frame of when it's going to all come together. You just kind of got to trust it, stay consistent. So I would definitely say that, like, trust your process and trust the work that you put out. Like, no matter what industry you're in, like stand behind your work, like always deliver your best, always deliver quality because you never know. In your head, it could be something so simple, like it could be such a simple thing, but to somebody else, it can be very like profound or very enlightening or just very helpful or just something that they laughed at. Like there have been so many times I've been out and people like, oh my gosh, you were the girl in that video. Like, and I'm just like, oh, okay. Yeah. It wasn't at the time. It was just not a big deal to me. And I definitely didn't think that would be what made people recognize me. So just whatever it is that you're putting out, trust it. And one more thing, I always tell people, be hungry, not thirsty. There is a huge difference. Work hard, hungry, you know, you're working hard, you're like on the grind, you're consistent, you're helpful, you're humble, you're showing up on time, you're making yourself available to those seniors and people above you. Thirsty is, again, that person like, can we take a picture? Oh my God, you inspire me so much. Like, it's too much. Like, you've gone from professional to fan real quick. So just, you know, always know the difference between the two.
Right. Because feeding your hunger nurtures you and being thirsty can kill you from dehydration, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Come on.
So that's a great tip, especially in media, no matter who you are, because that first impression, if you bomb that first impression, it's pretty hard to shake. Hard to shake. So keep that in mind for sure. Okay. So, you know, something that's been paramount, especially in these times, in this era, is self-care, taking care of yourself, right? So in this part of our show, the care package, we want to know how you are taking care of body, mind, and soul in general, and especially during these times. Let's start with body. What do you do?
Okay, I'm like kind of embarrassed to say this because I'm not doing what I need to be. I need to be working out. I really need to be working out. And even today, I feel like more so. We talked a little bit earlier, kind of like behind the scenes, but like I woke up today just kind of feeling like super unmotivated, more than I felt like this whole time, like during this whole kind of like self isolation, social distancing. And I was just like, oh, like I'm so sick of this. And I was like, I need to work out. Like I need to get my heart rate up. I need some cardio in because I noticed that like when I work out, I'm sure like so many other people, like I feel less stressed, like my head is clearer, like it's just, and working out for me has never been really like a vanity thing, which is nothing wrong if it is. It's never been about like, oh, I want my body to look this way, which, salute to those people who do. But for me, it's always been about like clarity and like energy levels. And I've noticed that I need to really start working out again, even if it's just like walking out, of my apartment complex and taking a run around like the building. So that's what I need to be doing that I'm not doing. But also as far as body, I do eat pretty clean. So even though I'm not working out, I eat pretty clean. I don't really drink. I haven't drunk this whole quarantine, really. I had wine one time. I haven't really drank. Like I just drink water and hot tea.
We definitely on the opposite side of the spectrum on that.
I haven't been drinking. I've just been kind of like very conscious about what I'm consuming and putting into my body, probably because I'm not working out. I saw you on IG with your push-ups. So like you working out. So anything you put in your body is like being detoxed, but that's not my case. It's going to stay up in there and it's going to hug my hips and everything else. So I've been very conscious about what I've been putting into my body.
Mm-hmm. Essence talking about stuff hugging her hips. Essence is like, first of all, Essence is like this. She's talking about, but I get it. I get it. Before people be like, you don't know because you're a man and you don't know where the sides are. I be looking to like on myself and I know what hangs and what doesn't and what's supposed to be like this, but is actually like this. So I get it. The spirit fingers is locked in for those listening to the podcast, locked in versus spirit fingers, right? So no, I would say in terms of the working out, like ain't no shame here. We just trying to figure out tips and stuff. We want to do anything, but if you're not motivated to do it, if you don't feel it, then getting back in that mental mindset is what's important, and I think it all starts with a single step. Like if you want to do like a walk around your block, there you go. And then you might build to 2 walks. Then you might build to this. Then you might build to a run. So I would say, but eating clean is definitely like, you're on the right track with that because at least, you'll maintain and you're inside. You'll be great inside as well as outside. So,
right. And
speaking of the mentals, in terms of your mind, what are you doing to take care of yourself?
You know what? I pray a lot. Like I'm a big believer in like praying, meditating, whatever it is that you can do if you don't believe in prayer, like even just meditating, anything that can give you stillness and silence in a moment where there's no distractions, no noise, no physical noise, no other like thoughts, anything like that, any kind of noise, just that moment of just like silence and kind of connecting to yourself or connecting to a higher power. Because for me, that just helps me to keep things in perspective. And that keeps me from complaining a lot too, because when you're meditating or when you're praying, any kind of act of like reflection, you're suddenly not worried about those very small things. Like I'm like, okay, I really want to go outside. I want to go to a rooftop party. That's all I want to do is just go, shake my ass a little bit, listen to some trap music. But that is very small in comparison. Like people are sick. People are dying. Like people are losing family members. People are having to, bury family and they can't even like see them because, like we're isolated and they can't risk, getting sick themselves. So in the grand scheme of things, it's like, I'm healthy. My family is healthy. Thank God. So for me, prayer has just helped me to maintain focus on like what's important. And it also, I'm a big believer in when you're like, meditating, praying, whatever it is that you do, to also have moments where it's only about giving thanks or gratitude and not asking for anything. So there are times when I pray and I don't ask for anything. I'm not asking for, whatever it is, I'm just kind of like, thank you that I am here. Thank you for allowing me to take up space in this universe today. Thank you for my health. Thank you for clarity. Thank you for, the roof over my head in these very uncertain times. Because when you're asking for something, which is important, you have to have prayers where you ask for things as well and manifest things, but also when you're doing that, you're also kind of coming from a place of lack and you're reminded of what you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Versus when you are praying from a space of gratitude, you're reminded of everything you do have and how good everything is. So just finding the balance and making sure you're not always asking or wanting something, but also just taking a moment to just, be grateful for all that you do have.
Yeah, meditation is dope, and gratitude is even doper because it's like you remind, like you said, it's kind of like you're giving thanks, and then you realize for all you don't have, you have a lot.
Yes.
So
yes.
it's being thankful for that because it can be taken away in an instant. So being thankful for that is definitely something that is good to keep in mind. And part of it was body, mind, and soul, but I think you kind of dipped into that with the prayer aspect. And a lot of that mind and spirit usually go hand in hand and combine with each other. So it's good to know that you're doing those things and stuff that we can all do, depending on meditation or prayer or anything like that. It's something that really clears the mind, and it's changed my life. I'm very open about that. All right, let's end on a fun note. So this is Mess Around. I'm going to ask you some fill in the blank questions. We're going to find out about your most intimate secrets and the silly things that you do. All right. So first, you wouldn't believe if I told you this about me, but blank.
You wouldn't believe if I told you this about me, but I'm a Southern girl who cannot cook.
I was hoping that wasn't what was going to come out. I won't throw stones because my cooking skills are subpar at best. Like, I can keep you alive, but you might not like it. And I'm trying to work on that. That's something that I would like, get a skill hive. I'm trying to come out of this being able to cook, but what happened?
This is literally what happened. Okay, so we have a family, like 4 kids, mom, dad, 4 kids, 3 girls, 1 boy, bless his heart. He's the baby, the super youngest, who he can actually cook, which is very surprising, but he's the baby. I am the youngest girl though. So I have 2 older sisters. So every Sunday, come home from church, Southern family, and my mom would be like downstairs cooking. And she never really made me help because, again, I was the baby girl. So I didn't really have to contribute, in the same way that my older siblings did. So I would go upstairs to my room, go to sleep, take me a little after church nap. And she would call my phone and be like, hey, honey, dinner's ready. Come downstairs. And I'd be like, okay, bet. So I just never had to really cook. But I make a real mean salmon. I make some real good salmon. That's it, though.
So, I mean, so you can cook. See, and that's the thing I tell people. Like, when people always say, I can only do one thing or whatever. I'm like, you can do it, though. Like, ask me, Jeff, can you make salmon? I love it.
Yeah.
You know what? I say? I have the capacity to do it. I just don't have the skill.
Yes.
I can learn it. I know I can learn it, but I can't make you a salmon today. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, like that's, I wouldn't have believed that. You know what I'm saying? That's like the stereotypical, if she's from the South, she can throw down and whatnot. She's like, I don't even throw. I toss. I lightly toss.
Right.
All right, next. The first thing I want to do when all of this is over is blank.
The first thing I want to do when all of this is over is go to a nice rooftop situation with my homegirls, get some shrimp tacos, maybe a drink. I don't know, because I haven't been drinking that much, so I've kind of like lost the taste and the urge, but maybe when we open back up, it'll come back. But get some shrimp tacos, listen to some good music, just stay out all night. Yeah, just have a good time with good people.
I miss outside too. I tell you so much. It's just like, but I'm with you on that wave, but it's going to have to be an intimate setting because I'm shook. I'm still shook. I tell you that much. All right. The item I'm most thankful to have right now is blank.
The item I'm most thankful to have right now is, I would say, a general technology, like FaceTime. Talk like this morning I was FaceTiming with my niece. Like those are the things that kind of just keep me together. Aside from food and all the obviously obvious, but technology has made this a lot easier for me. Like I can't imagine this pre FaceTime, I can't imagine going through this especially if like I live alone. It's not like I have roommates or anyone here with me, so I'm literally by myself. So to imagine being in this position pre technology, I would probably be in here yelling and shaking back and forth right now.
Listen, I feel you 100%. If you don't listen to blank, then we can't be friends. And the blank could be an artist or a type of music.
If you don't listen to 90s R&B, we can't be friends. We can't, we just can't, we can't be friends. In the words of RL and Deborah Cox, it's just kind of that I'm so passionate about it, to the point where I have gotten into arguments with people about it. And I would go even a step further and specifically Brandy. I am obsessed with that woman. I don't care. I love her so much. I love her vocal tone. I love the way that she rips and she runs, the way that she's inspired with her own vocal stylings, all of these other young artists out right now. But yeah, definitely 90s R&B. It's nothing to talk about. Keep it pushing.
Yeah, 100%. I love it. I love it. Brandy should definitely get more flowers than she does. She's phenomenal. I love 90s R&B. Anybody who saw me on IG Live a couple of weeks ago will tell you my 90s R&B game is kind of deep. If you haven't, are you doing more reading or binging now? Like TV binging?
I've definitely done more binging than reading.
So if you haven't seen blank, you need to see it ASAP. Trust me.
If you haven't seen Unorthodox on Netflix,
I've heard of it.
Watched it? Okay.
I haven't watched it yet.
It was so good. I was, when I say weeping, good tears and sad tears. It's a mix of both. It's not all sad because honestly, which is funny, even my homegirl was I'm surprised you watched it because I don't always tell people I don't like to be scared and I don't like to be sad. So I watch very light, fluffy things. But it is so good. I definitely advise everyone to watch Unorthodox on Netflix.
Okay. I've heard that one before, so that's definitely going to be in my queue. And finally, if we play blank during game night, you need to be on my team because you ain't going to lose.
Taboo. Period. When I tell you family gatherings, people be like, okay, I got to be on Essence's team. Because it doesn't matter who I'm up against. I'm winning. I'm winning. And maybe it's because I'm a writer and words just kind of I'm very good at expressing myself or it's come naturally to me. I'm not sure what it is, but if we play in Taboo, if you're not on my team, you're definitely going to lose. And that's period, point blank.
Do you be doing gestures and cheating like most women do during this game?
No, I don't do gestures. Actually, I hold the card thing with both hands like this just to make sure.
Oh, you're a beast. I already know you're you for real. She's like, yo, I don't even need to move because I use gestures. I'm trolling, but I definitely use because I'm a natural histrionic type person. I'm from New York. I use my hands. It's just the gestures. Just I gotta it's you gotta put me in a straitjacket, and I gotta just start guessing because otherwise I'm just you know what I'm saying? So I definitely that's cool. Taboo, Taboo always turns it up. Taboo always turns it up. So I enjoy that for sure. Essence, we're done here. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you for having me. This was fun. It was a nice little power.
Yeah, it was good. So plug what you got going on. How can the people find you? What do you have upcoming in the world of Essence Gant?
Definitely follow me on Instagram because that is the central location for anything related to me. My handle is @the essence of _ Do not forget the underscore. There's another The Essence of out there. She's lovely, but she's not me. So definitely follow me on Instagram. And I've just been, there are some, campaigns that I've been doing with brands that are coming up. So you can check those out. That will be on my Instagram very shortly. A lot of living room photo shoots, happening. But yeah, follow me on Instagram.
Yeah, she's definitely a good follow. And I tell you, like, once again, fellas, if you're trying to get like sneak skincare tips on the low, if you don't want to be outward, Essence be putting y'all on, man, for real. Like,
their DM. So even somebody can be like, yo, what I do about this rough patch, like DM me, I'll tell you it, and I won't tell nobody I told you.
Yo, you need to do like a ask me fellas about skincare or something like that, and just do that. I bet you get a bunch of questions like, yo, keep me anonymous, but what did you put in your hair?
Right.
All right. So yeah, that does it for us. Thank you all so much for watching, listening. I hope you got something out of it. That's the whole point of this show, is for you to learn, and definitely share this with everybody else. And I'm going to leave you with a quote. I'm always going to have a quote at the end of this, or maybe not, who knows, things evolve. So I got a quote. In times of crisis, the wise build bridges while the foolish build barriers. And this is from T'Challa, aka the Black Panther. And I'll leave you with this. This is something that I feel, something that I always close on. Civilizations don't survive without scribes. A knowledge hoarded is a knowledge doomed to be lost in time. Learn it, share it, and vibrate higher. Pass the message. Talk to you soon.